Hi students, in this video I am talking about paper chromatography. The paper commonly used consists of purified cellulose. Cellulose, a homopolysaccharide of glucose, contains several thousand anhydroglucose units linked through oxygen atoms. Many of the hydroxyl groups of glucose become partially oxidized during manufacture. The oxidation products are usually aldehydes, ketone or carboxyl functional groups. The paper also contains impurities through inorganic substances, adsorbed salts and mineral matter which gets deposited on the paper, and it can be removed by washing the paper with 0.1 normal HCl and dry. Cellulose fibers in the paper hold moisture tightly through the formation of hydrogen bonds. The paper exhibits weak ion exchange and adsorptive properties. Apparatus. Apparatus consists of a support for paper, solvent trough and an airtight chamber in which the chromatogram is developed. The sample applied to the paper as a small spot. This is done before dipping the paper into the eluting solvent. Any device which can transfer a small volume of sample can be used for spotting. Generally used devices are platinum loop, capillary tube or micropipette. Techniques. 3 types for the development of paper chromatograms: ascending, descending or radial. The solvent is placed in the base of a sealed tank or glass jar to allow the chamber to become saturated with the solvent vapor. After equilibration of the chamber is achieved. In ascending technique, the paper is allowed to hang in or is suspended in a manner that the base of the paper is in contact with solvent at the base of the chamber. The sample spots should be in a position just above the surface of the solvent so that as the solvent moves vertically up the paper by capillary action, separation of the sample is achieved. In the descending technique, the end of the paper near which the samples are located is held in a trough at the top of the tank, and the rest of the paper allowed to hang vertically but not in contact with the solvent in the base of the tank. Development is started by adding the solvent to the trough. Separation of the sample is achieved as the solvent moves downward under gravity. Advantages of ascending technique. The setup required is very simple. The resolution of the sample by ascending technique is better. Disadvantage is it is very slow. Advantage of descending chromatography, it is very faster. Next one is radial technique. Sample is spotted at the center of a circularly cut paper which is placed horizontally. The center of the paper is connected with a wick to the solvent which is placed at the base of a jar. The solvent rises up the wick and then to paper by capillary action. The sample components move outward radially, forming concentric circles of increasing diameters. The sample components are colored. The chromatogram developed looks good. The resolution of the components is sharper. Apparatus is simple. Here you can find ascending and descending chromatography apparatus. The plane surface is amenable to sequential development in 2 directions using 2 different solvents. The paper with the sample applied as a spot close to a corner is developed in the normal fashion by ascending or descending manner. The development is continued until the faster moving component or solvent front approaches the end of the paper. The paper is removed and allowed to dry. Next we are going to see about solvent system. The mobile phase is a mixture of various solvents such as alcohols, acids, esters, ketones, phenols, amines and hydrocarbons. The solvent system should be the 2 phases are immiscible. Solvent should possess partition coefficient of substances to be analyzed should range from 1 to 100 in favor of the aqueous phase. The solvent should be removable from the paper its boiling point should ideally less than 200 degrees Celsius. The solvent should be stable. Examples for solvent system: butanol, acetic acid and water in the ratio of 40:10:50 for amino acids. Propanol, petroleum ether 4:96 for plant pigments. Chloroform, petroleum ether 30:70 for plant pigments. Detection: sample components are colored, that itself identifies the component. When the component is colorless, they can be imparted color by spraying the paper with color producing reagents. Example: ninhydrin reagent detect amines and amino acids to form a blue or purple color. Other methods of detection are ultraviolet light, infrared absorption, fluorescence and radioactivity. Next we are going to see about calculation. The identification of a compound on the basis of the distance traversed by the solute related to the distance moved by the solvent front. This ratio, which reflects the distribution coefficient of the given solute, is known as a retardation factor and is constant for a given compound under standard conditions. Application of paper chromatography: it is easy to analyze less volume samples in biochemistry. If you like my video, please subscribe, share with others. Thank you.